A Year with God, Day 87. The reading for today is from Psalm 96, Sing to the Lord a New Song. And so we actually begin our first day focusing on worship with the idea of musical worship, at least in the scripture reading. In the commentary reading, as they talk about, in the commentary reading they talk about singing out prophetic praise being a natural response to an encounter with God. And then they share this quote from William Temple, in which he defines worship this way: to worship is to quicken the conscience by the holiness of God, to free the mind with the truth of God, to purge the imagination by the beauty of God, to open the heart to the love of God, and to devote the will to the purpose of God. Which from a theological standpoint is really quite an inspiring definition. But again, we have that challenge when we consider what does it really mean to worship, how do I worship? We still have that challenge being presented to us. And because a great inspiring theological definition doesn't address that. It doesn't address how do I do these things if I seek to worship God. Kind of on that note, I attended a conference the other day, and it was at a Lutheran church, and they had, as part of their conference, they had some times of worships, and they had musical worship and responsive readings. They had times of silence, and then they had a time of ritual of blessing others with water. And so in that you had several different forms of worship: the responsive reading, the public prayers, the blessing. So you had some different approaches to worship that were not approaches that I typically grew up with, that are part of my own church tradition. And so it was interesting to watch some of those and to take part in some of those. Maybe helps broadens the idea of what worship is rather than more carefully defining it. So those are my thoughts on Day 87.